Hey, welcome to the Scare Guy Show, everybody. The official podcast of the scareguy.com, which is the scarier side of the conguy.com. This is where we, as filmmakers and fans, talk about all things that are kind of scary, cool, scary, fun, whether it be movies, TV shows, conventions. And this week, it's all about collectibles. The collectibles you can get that kind of feature your favorite characters from your favorite movies. The marquee characters this week, of course, the NECA, not naked, the NECA Universal Monsters, which are some of the most sought after things from the week. But basically, this week I'm going to be asking Cheeseman and Jake, what's in the box? I always love that. Anyways, my name is Jim. I'm part of the Scare Guy here. You can find me at thescareguy.com. Also find me at James D. Fry on Instagram and Jim Fry. I'm kind of forget what I am on Twitter X. I'm Jim Fry LA. All right, Cheeseman.
What's up, everybody? Cheeseman here, screenwriter and tonight collector of different cool collectibles. Not as much as Jake, but I have the specific things. Maybe I beat him in. But me and Jake have been long friends, and
sounds like a throwdown challenge, Jake.
Since fourth grade, we've been drawing and probably buying toys since the fourth grade. So one of the founding members of Scare Guy, Cheeseman here. Now you, Jake.
Hey, everybody. It's Jake from the Jacob System back on the show again. I'm a frequent guest on the Con Guy and the Scare Guy. I guess I'm kind of the official collectible guy in the group. So, of course, I'm happy to be here to talk about my favorite thing, which is toys and cool stuff. And Halloween time, obviously, we're going to talk about some cool horror-themed toys, Universal Monsters, and kind of delve into some other stuff made by NECA, which is probably, I think, the top toy company making the horror stuff right now. So
that's really cool.
Yep.
And we'll do some unboxing here. We'll do some close-ups. And just for those of you who are tuning in this week, happy Halloween. This is Halloween week. But we kind of think of this show as one of those evergreen shows where the stuff you're going to see here, stuff you can collect all year long. But before we do jump over to that, I also want to point out that Jake and Luke are two of the primary contributors towards. We have another pod. We do the Con Guy show. We do the Scare Guy show. But we have a third one that we're doing that these guys have been very instrumental in. And it is called the Tiki Freak. We're not talking Tiki Freaks tonight, but Tiki and Halloween does have a cool crossover. But I just wanted to say that's kind of how I think I have shared this cup a couple of times. This is my favorite Tiki mug I've ever gotten, and I won this at a Comic-Con. It has the Universal Monsters on it. This is what we're going to be talking about tonight, but this is coolest Tiki mug. I think I wouldn't know what this thing would retail for because it's a one of a kind. I won it during one of the panels there, so this is very cool. It's just very very dear to me. I love this, but I'm gonna pitch it over to Luke and Jake. You guys, what kind of stuff do we have for tonight?
All right, so I mean, obviously we're going to be focusing on NECA, which is one of the top toy companies around. Luke has started to get into collecting stuff, NECA figures in particular. A lot of things I know, like he collects Back to the Future and Terminator and stuff like that. They've also delved into other franchises like Jaws. They have like they didn't do a Brody yet, right? They did Hooper and Quint.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be Brody and Quint, and then for some reason, I think with Roy Scheider's family, there was some issues where they unfortunately had to kind of put a pause, hopefully just a pause on it. But as of now, there's no.
I just know with Jaws being Luke's favorite movie, of course, when they released those, I knew like he was going to get those. I've seen them in the store. They're awesome. I haven't picked any up yet. But let's get into the Universal Monsters, which is obviously a huge franchise, arguably the most well-known horror characters of all time. Going back to,
got the shirt on, paying the homage.
Yeah. And the cool thing about NECA is that they'll not just release one version of a character. they'll release a black and white version. They'll release a color version, and they'll also do fun, convention exclusive versions, kind of based on other things like old, like retro figures from the 70s or 80s, like their versions of it, like their paint schemes and color schemes and stuff.
I love it.
Cool stuff. So
and I also love the way they have different facial expressions, different poses, the hands, different all kinds of stuff for each character.
Right. Yep. Several of them have different alternate heads. You can have different expressions, different hands. Dracula could have like the kind of like the Bela Lugosi, the hand like that. He also has other styles. So Luke actually, like he was joking, he beat me in the Universal thing because I actually only have 3 of the Universal monster figures, and Luke I think has almost the whole set, right?
I have 8 of the color ones. So there are black and white versions, as he said, and there are some glow in the dark versions as well they've been doing. But as
you want to start showing off some of these ones? I mean,
yeah. So
hey Luke, let me ask you a question first. Is there, sorry guys, this is a behind the scenes question. I was kind of playing around with the settings of viewing. Is there a way to like make the speaker larger when he and not we can talk about it later.
You mean like go solo on it? Like
no,
this?
Not like that. Go away. Like this. Wait. Like hello. That's not working out. Or like this. See, does this look different?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, go away, Jim. Sorry, guys, if you're listening, I apologize for this. And let's make sure we do describe exactly what it is that we are holding up to the camera so that folks who are listening can kind of get an idea. But if you're just listening, come on, log into the YouTube channel and watch this because this is a pretty cool episode with all these things. Right, go ahead, guys.
Luke, do you have all your NECA figures right there with you?
Yep, I have them all here. I have the boxes and the figurines. So
I can't remember which one was first. If it was, we'll go by the originals. Let's start with Dracula. Show us the Bela Lugosi Dracula figure. All
right. Well, first of all, they do a great job with these boxes. So they have the classic movie covers, and then it opens up. I took the figures out, but then the figures in here, and they have a nice picture as well of kind of and different kind of ways you could pose your figure. So they did a really good job on the Dracula one. And it's kind of cool to keep the boxes, and especially since there are multiple heads and different hands as we've talked about, and it's good to kind of keep the boxes handy. So like a lot of times I'll store different boxes that I don't really need, or sometimes you could even throw them away if you want, although I tend to hoard and hold on to those things. But NECA ones are ones in particular I keep very close. So
yeah, you mentioned the cover. It's really cool. They used the original poster art for the cover of all these boxes. So that, like you see that image right there. That's the original. Yeah, very cool.
Very cool indeed. So here's Dracula. He has been removed from the box, but I'm doing this so you can get a better kind of view of things. So as you can see, there's multiple heads there. So there's 3 different heads. And then there's a bat that you can do, like where he turns into the bat and all that. And then it looks like there's some plates, alternate hands, and there's a candle and just other kind of like cups and things that he's holding. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this out. This is actually kind of the main one I've kind of displayed as. Yeah. But the cape, I think, came on the back, and they do a good job kind of displaying the cape kind of separate and kind of taping it on or putting it in a little baggie. But it's really cool how, and then the cape comes off as well. You can take it off and switch out the heads and everything. So I kind of, the cape does kind of fall off a little easy, at least on this one. But I can.
So that having the cape like that in the toy biz, they call it like soft goods. So there's different versions. Like some toy companies will have like that, like the fabric. Some will have actually like molded plastic that looks like fabric, like folded, hanging down. To me, it's hit or miss. Like Hasbro does that a lot with certain characters. Like when they did Rogue One, they had that character Orson Krennic. His cape was like a white, hard plastic shell that would sit on him, and it looks really cool on display. But having a fabric cape like that just reminds you of being a kid and playing with like those old Batman toys or something where they actually had the fabric material. So NECA does a good job with it, but definitely.
And
Yeah,
look,
and
it's
there's,
got
I mean,
base,
you can see
right?
there's some curvature there on it too. So it's even more so better, and
Has
when
like a
you're
plastic
like yeah.
like hood to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the likeness on NECA figures are amazing. How does that look? How's that look in person? Does that look?
Oh, it's really good.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm kind
Awesome.
of particular about faces, so I kind of a lot of times at the store I'll look at like multiple boxes and things to figure out which one I like
Nice.
best. And then, this is the head I keep on it when I display it and kind of have him kind of hold out his hand and
Yeah.
all that. So that's
Nice.
kind of how I choose to pose him.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can show the next because I actually have this one. We can show the next one in the line, which is Boris Karloff's Frankenstein monster.
Nice.
So the one I have is I don't have the box, so if you have the box, you can show the cover there.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, awesome. I love that. I keep some boxes, but I just don't have room for it. I just like if it's very cool, I'll keep it. But most of the time, just get rid of them. But again, likeness on this is amazing, and he also features different heads. He even has accessories. He has a hand that holds the flower, like in the scene where he's like with the little girl and they're throwing flowers in the water. They feature that. They have so I don't have the accessories with me right now. They have you got them right there. Yeah, he has the chains, like the cuffs that he's all chained up. There you go. You can see it. Yeah, you can see the flowers right there. And again, alternate heads. He has like a snarling face, and one that's more of like a smirking kind of face. Yep, awesome. So I have the color version just like Luke does, and one of the best, monster figures I've ever seen. Actually, it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because they have the accessory set. Well, actually, with Dracula, there is some accessories that they have. His coffin, I think, and just a few other little items.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they
and
do.
Then,
they have the whole like lab. They have like the table that he's like, created on, and all like extra little accessories like Bunsen burners and that kind of stuff too to have like nice setup.
And they do with Frankenstein as well. If they don't for all of them, but and also the Mummy. When we talk about that, they have one for that. But
Nice.
So far, I have not gotten the accessories myself, just because I like them more kind of standing up. If they created more like sets for them, or did kind of like a cave that I could put all the figures in, I would actually be interested in something like that.
And NECA does that a lot with other franchises. They recently did that with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the movie figures. They had like a whole accessory set with alternate heads and like pizza boxes and just a lot of cool stuff. So the attention to detail on these are amazing.
Yeah, like I consider them more like models than I do toys, because I mean, you look at the detail on them and they display really nice. So it seems less like a toy and more like something you'd buy at a store. But usually, models and stuff like that could be like $200 or $300 when you look at something with this much detail. But to be at a price point of like 30 to 35 or so for like these kind of figures and have that kind of look from like that you could put on your shelf and stuff, I think that's pretty incredible, especially with, being able to switch out heads and do different kind of things with them.
Yeah. So let's move on. Do you have all of them, right? Or is there anyone?
I have the main 8. There are some others, and I did put Jim on the thing if we want to kind of do a recap. And there are 2 figures. I put those kind of on where we can kind of show those once we kind of.
So since we just did the Frankenstein monster, why don't you show us the Bride of Frankenstein?
All right, that sounds great.
Perhaps, and I would say that when Luke we were talking today, the Bride is. She's one of the top 2, probably most popular.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So again, like he was mentioning, they all have kind of the original posters here. Good quality box, kind of displays the different looks that you can kind of do with her and kind of show you what you're getting. And the figure's not in here, but again, opens up and everything. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at the figure. I did kind of take her out. So it's a little... Oh gosh, things are falling out. What did I just lose? Oh, I lost just a little kind of face covering kind of
You're
thing.
losing the pieces of the bride.
Yeah,
You can stitch her back together. It's
found
okay.
You know what's so crazy about how her popularity? How long was she on screen, Jake? Do you remember? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah, minutes. Yeah,
it's crazy. All right.
But they did do kind of sequels and stuff as Universal went over the years. So I mean, you get multiple heads. This little piece, I think it's kind of more like a little face covering that she can do. And then there's some of the kind of like little mummy type straps there and different hands.
Yeah, that's her fate. Remember, while they were unwrapping her before you saw her, that's what she looked like on the operating table.
Yeah.
And talk about, one of the most iconic looks for any of like the characters. Like this is definitely like one of the top ones. Yeah, awesome. I love it.
This movie's like almost 100 years old. Like this one and the Frankenstein, and it's crazy how popular they have remained.
And I think I kind of prefer the screaming head.
Yeah.
So here's kind of
I do too.
Get the full view, but they do a great job on all the fabrics and the mix of the toy stuff. Even this, like there's stitching on the back that you can see here. But yeah, they did a really good job on this, and you can take this off and do kind of more of the mummied version of her that they show on the box, kind of here on the side.
Right.
You can do that with her too, which is kind of cool. And,
nice.
Yeah. So my favorite head's definitely, the one of her doing the kind of.
Wait! You can do a version of her completely wrapped up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just
if you take the white like robe thing off, she just has like the mummy wraps like all over.
Yeah.
So she's wrapped underneath. Wait, let's see.
Yeah. So yeah, you can take kind of a look under here.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
More modest than Barbie.
I know. I feel almost like naughty looking, but like
calm down, Jim. Calm down. Cool. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Luke, do you have the Invisible Man?
I do. Let's see. Okay. So again, this box was a little jacked up, but I know I was taking it out. So, but here's the old classic cover.
Nice.
Here's kind of look of some different things you can do with them. Pretty sweet, right? Look at that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Then again, here's kind of some of the different poses and things you can do with them. And on this one, you can actually, remove the head and remove the hand.
You take the head and the hand off, and it's actually it's film accurate.
Film accurate. I don't even know if I've seen that one all that much. I need to go back and kind of rewatch and watch
I've seen it a long time ago.
What did you think of the movie? Because it's not one that's as popular as some of the others are.
It's good. It's a little more, from what I remember, it's a little more like science fiction-y than like horror, because it's like the poster art says H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells based on the book. Yeah. Whereas Frankenstein and was based on the novel by Shelley. It was a first, but I think Bride of Frankenstein was completely original.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, let's see what you got, Cheese.
Nice.
So let's take a closer look. So I assume there with the book, that's kind of how the formula, probably what made him invisible.
Yep.
And then they got the different gloves, the different kind of fake hand type things, and then as you see, multiple kind of faces and different things, and they even give you
hey, let's go back up. We didn't see all the faces.
It's cool how the heads are kind of like, you can see they're like hollow, like you can see through the eyes and the nose and stuff, obviously because he's invisible.
Oh, that is great attention to detail there.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, like some companies they could just easily just have a solid thing and just paint the eye holes black or something, but like NECA actually has like a hollow head,
So so it looks like as he's unwrapping the wraps, his head is not there. That's so great.
And of course, it's kind of out of the box. This isn't the one with the hollow look, but again, a very high quality figure. And something interesting with this is there's multiple replacement noses, and I even kind of have taped here to the side. There's extra noses, so I'm not sure why that is, or if he holds his, or you want him to hold his nose, or what? Kind of when you're playing around with. This.
Do any of the noses, like, that is kind of odd, huh?
Nice.
But maybe he's holding his nose or doing something. But I think I have
Michael
three.
Jackson
taking it off. Cool. All right. Luke, actually, let's go. Do you have the? I know you have. Yeah, do you have the Phantom of the Opera?
I do, and this is one of the coolest ones because there's actually 5 different heads.
Wow.
But
Jeez.
I will save that for the grand reveal. But again, old poster, and then the side displays some different kind of things you can do with it.
Yep.
As far as the posing goes, and then here's kind of a look of the multiple heads that you can do.
The great Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
And I love the way it says, Carl Lemley presented this because at Midsummer Scream this past summer, Luke and I, we went to the panel where either the son or the grandson, maybe the son of the Lemley family, it had to be the grandson, was talking about the history of the Universal Monsters and how Carl Lemley, he just kind of single-handedly almost pushed these through, and everybody thought he was crazy for making them, but they became such a sensation.
Yeah, I think the Phantom is the first one, right? Isn't that predates?
I think it might be. Yeah. Well, no. Wait. I'll have to look that up. I know that Frankenstein was 31, so maybe the first Phantom, like, because there were 2 different versions of the Phantom, I think.
Yeah,
I'll look it up while Luke shows it to us.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's see the different heads and everything you got there.
Now, I just opened this tonight. Look at that.
Oh wow.
So there are 5 different heads that come with this. So 4 are kind of the Phantom, and 1's kind of the more disguised. More.
So he's got. Looks like he has the one head is like the screaming head when she takes his mask off. Yeah, up there in the top right there. And then he has like a kind of smiling one, kind of like a sinister looking one, more of like a kind of like a dead-eyed stare one. And then the other one is kind of like, I don't know, like a surprised look. And he also has another one that has his mask on that has that weird kind of like fabric that like covers his mouth in that version of the movie.
Yeah, and then they have the hat that right there too.
Mm-hmm.
And then some different hand poses and all that. And then the cape came on the back, and it was kind of in a separate little bag and packaging, but a really good cape on this one. I mean, this one even has look at the detail or the texture to it.
Oh yeah.
And all that. So that's a lot different.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Little bald spot too.
By the way, Lon Chaney, this was a 1925 silent film.
Yeah.
I thought they redid a newer version, but they did not.
Okay. Oh, they did. They did one with Claude Rains. They did one.
That?
It was in color. I don't know. I have to look it up. They did do a remake because I think the Phantom, the original one was like the first one.
Yep.
And then it was I have no idea what the date was, but I know I actually still own both versions. I have the original one on VHS and the Claude Rains one.
1943. You're right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Cool. So I wonder if they'll make that one too, because I think right now they just have the original one.
Yeah, like Luke, is that in black? I'm sorry, is that figure in black and white, or is he in color?
No, so all the ones I've purchased so far have been in color.
Cool.
So
cool.
There might be a black and white.
But that's cool. Lon Chaney was the 1925 silent version. I remember.
It doesn't look like they sell a black and white one yet.
Yeah, I knew they had 2 versions, and then the 1943 they redid it with sound. Claude Rains, you're correct. Mm-hmm. Very cool. That's so cool. That is so cool. That's the very first Universal Studios monster. That's kind of neat that you got that one. All right.
Nice. Yeah. Well, speaking of Claude Rains, he doesn't play the Wolfman, but he plays the Wolfman's dad. So, Luke, let's see the Wolfman figure.
All right. So, poster box right there. Mm-hmm. And then here again is some different poses and things you can do, both sides, and then the back. Pretty cool. And you can also have him, before he turns into the Wolfman. So this is, kind of similar to the Phantom. There's kind of like the one that looks a little more human, and then there's more of the monster version and all that. So this one actually only had 3 heads, but I don't know if you really need more than that. I mean, you have the one where he's kind of more that just traditional straight-faced one is, I think, the one that kind of comes on it. The one I like to kind of display it with is this one, where he's kind of
he has like a snarling one, and then one where he's just more of like a regular face, and then he also has the human, the Lon Chaney Jr., like his normal face, Lawrence Talbot, his character.
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah. Once again, the likeness is amazing on that. The sculpt is so good.
Yep, based on the 1941 The Wolfman movie. Yep. It's one of the 3 top-tier Universal Studios monsters without a direct literary source.
Oh, nice.
That cane's really cool too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he come with the cane? Nice.
Yep, the cane's really cool, and the detail on that's great.
And he can interchange his hands. Does he have interchangeable feet too, or no?
That's weird.
Maybe not.
You'd think he would, but yeah, I don't see that. And then there's just a little kind of like foot trap and all that. But yeah, that's a little interesting. So, but he looks his face has a look of concern and all that. So he's probably in his changing kind of process kind of thing. So that's maybe why they didn't really.
I think that maybe it's the scene. I think it's that first one, or it's one of them where there's a scene where he's like sitting there.
Oh wait! I am wrong.
He does. Nice. There you go.
And look at that. That actually comes with a little stand on it that I realized too. So,
Jake, what were you going to describe as a scene where what happens?
Oh, I was just thinking there's a scene in one of the old Wolfman movies with Lon Chaney Jr. where he's sitting there and sitting in on a chair, and he's slowly, changing into the werewolf.
Yep.
And they do the old film thing where they dissolve, or it's like they add more makeup, and then there's a scene where he's sitting there and just show his feet, and his feet are like slowly turning. So I was wondering if that's like what the idea was, but I was wrong because they actually did include the feet. So that's really cool.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, it was kind of because some of the things they'll layer it in the packaging, and
full disclosure of all the Wolfmen throughout the past 100 years of cinematic Wolfmen, mine favorite is still the 1941 version here. I like it because it's one of the, in later years, the werewolves they looked more like wolves than they did men, but I like it when it's a wolf man. That's why this one kind of stands out for me. The wolf man. I like this.
Like when they did Universal John Landis made American Werewolf in London. Yep. He made a much more like beast werewolf, where it was like it ran around on all fours and was like a big monster. Now I have the figure. I'll show you later a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And Bush did a great song for that one.
What's that?
The band Bush did.
Oh, that was you're thinking of American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh, Paris. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but the American Werewolf in London was 1981, and Rick Baker, who won the Academy Award for that, he always wanted to. I think he wanted to make it more of like a classic Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman, but John Landis was like, no, I want it to be like all fours running around like this wild beast. So that's why I also really enjoyed the 2010 Wolfman with Benicio del Toro, because they went back to that style, and it was kind of like an in-between where he was still very human, but they kind of gave him like those arched heels and like made his legs more like he kind of crouched down a little bit more.
Yeah.
And he would still be on his 2 feet, but there were scenes where he'd jump down and gallop on.
I think I do like that.
Yeah,
kind of like the Thriller video, know.
Yeah.
By the way, since we mentioned American Werewolf in London, if you guys get a chance, go back and check out the Scare Guys interview with David Naughton talking about the what
was it, McNaughton or was it Naughton?
David Naughton. Naughton is the guy.
Yeah,
Naughton. Okay.
Talking about the 40th anniversary of the movie.
Nice. All right.
And there are NECA figures of that, which are cool as well. And they did a really good job at Halloween Horror Nights with doing that maze.
I'll tell you what, the American Werewolf in London maze, the wolf from that they have in the mazes at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights.
Since we're talking about it, I'll just go ahead and show you. This is probably my favorite NECA figure.
Oh, it's so amazing.
The Kessler werewolf from American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that's sweet.
It has 2 different heads. This is like the more big open mouth snarling face. He also has one where he's still snarling, but his mouth is kind of closed. But yeah, it's just like the detail and like the posability on this thing is awesome.
And it gets so big that you probably can't even do the human version of it because they're like, they'd almost need to be a separate figure.
Yeah, they have other versions, other characters from the movie too, like those nightmare werewolves.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was probably my favorite NECA horror figure, just because.
Did that cost more than normal ones because it's a little bigger?
I think just a little bit. I think they considered it more of like a deluxe figure, but it's really, this is what it was, except it had the extra head, and I don't think it had any other accessories unless.
What, that head switches off?
Yeah, you can pop the head off and put another one on that has like a more closed mouth.
I loved the detail. Look at like the number of teeth he has, the number of claws. It's just so detailed.
Designed by the legendary Rick Baker, one of the greatest of all time.
Rick Baker designed this?
I believe so. Yeah, he did all the. Well, I know he did the special effects.
For the movie,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, the figure. Yeah, it's someone else. Yeah, they have really good sculptors doing all the stuff. But I'm just saying, the initial design is awesome.
What do you do with the accessories if you don't keep all the boxes?
I just put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I have a big bin of just like random stuff I put them in.
And then you just keep them kind of organized together, so it's.
Yeah.
So obviously you can kind of keep track of what's what, because you know there's so many pieces on each individual figure.
Yeah. So who else do we have left in the Universal?
Yeah, let's go over to the Mummy.
Mummy. Yep. Okay.
So this, like, I wasn't at first collecting all of them, but after we went to the Midsummer Scream Universal panel, I'm like, dang it, now I kind of want more. And then I'm like, because I could have got the Mummy a while ago, but after seeing that panel, and
it's like crack.
Yeah, it just like, what's kind of interesting about this is you kind of, especially if you look at the back, it kind of looks a little bit like Vecna from Stranger Things.
Oh, it does.
So I wonder if a little of that kind of sculpting kind of had to do a little bit, if Stranger Things kind of took a little bit off that look to kind of create that scary look.
It's funny too, Jim, because you mentioned the Bride of Frankenstein, how short of screen time she had. That version of the Mummy in that movie is kind of the same thing. You only see him as that version of the Mummy for a short period of time, and then the rest he's Boris Karloff with just kind of like more wrinkly face with the little what do you call it, like fez hat and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fez hat. I love that attention to detail as well.
Mm-hmm. So let's see the figure, Luke. To get a lot of alternate stuff.
So got a few different heads in there.
Okay.
It's mainly kind of just different faces that he's making. So you got one that's just very kind of
asleep.
Straight, kind of asleep. And then you got that one there where it's just kind of.
Yeah.
And then the open mouth version. Look at that. That's where he's kind of screaming, growling. And then, some with the ring on.
That's when he's yawning, when he's waking up.
Yeah. And then they got this nice little. Is this where like his organs or something might have been in, or what's this here?
Probably, yeah. It's probably some kind of
Got the Egyptian kind of symbols, and then falling straps, at least for me.
Nice, very cool.
Got these straps in there, so great figure.
The second Boris Karloff figure we have.
Yeah.
The original Mummy is also 1932. So it was made the year after Frankenstein. Wow, this is one of their older ones too.
Yeah. If my grandparents could see me now. Well, I got toys from 1932.
The film stars Boris Karloff as Imhotep, an ancient Egyptian mummy who was killed for attempting to resurrect his dead lover. I can't say the name. So it's kind of crazy how the new Brendan Fraser mummy from the early night, was it from the 90s, late 90s, 99, I think.
99, yeah.
How it was very similar in plot. They very different in tone though.
Made it much more of like an Indiana Jones kind of like action.
Yep.
Added a lot more fun, to it. I never saw it. Did you guys watch the Tom Cruise one, the one that came out like a couple years ago?
I haven't seen it yet.
I did not.
I was like, I'll check it out sometime, and I just never did because I guess the reviews were not good, and unfortunately, that was the reason why we never got what were they calling it, like the Dark Universe?
Yep.
Like they were gonna have this whole thing, basically like a Universal monster. They're basically gonna do like the Avengers. With the Universal monsters, they're gonna have this crazy mashup, but then because Mummy tanked, but they did do They did do the Invisible Man though.
The Invisible Man, which was was that Blumhouse? I'm not sure.
I didn't see it, but I heard it was pretty good.
Starring Elizabeth Moss, and that one was very well received. That one was scary though, whereas the Tom Cruise one was a Tom Cruise movie, big, boisterous, adventuresome, and the mummy in there apparently it was the female mummy, but she was less of a creepy character than this power. She was kind of like the same villain that was in what's the superhero the superhero film that James Gunn redid?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I can't remember the first Suicide Squad. That mummy-ish character is almost like the same villain. You know, it wasn't that great. The thing about the Mummy that's interesting, it's one of the most successful franchises of Universal Studios monsters because unlike other Universal monster films, the Mummy had no official sequels, but it did have its own universe. It had the Mummy's Hand, the Mummy's Tomb, the Mummy's Ghost, the Mummy's Cursed, and then the comedy horror crossover Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. So it had a lot. The Mummy had legs. Let's put it that way. So they did. You're talking about like the dark universe here. Let's see what Luke's holding the Mummy up right now, which looks awesome.
Nice.
The Mummy though was one of those. It's one of those enduring characters from Universal Studios that lasted for a couple of decades there, and it really had legs on it. So they did have their own dark universe, but I guess they just did it better back then.
Nice. Well, I know we all have some creatures to show. Was there anyone else besides that, Luke, or is that it?
I think we're down to the creature as the last one.
Okay. My favorite Universal monster. The movie that got me into horror, I think as a kid, my dad introduced me to Creature from the Black Lagoon at a young age, and I was hooked. He introduced me to that and King Kong versus Godzilla, and both those movies just like floored me as a kid. I'm like, this is amazing. So, Creature from the Black Lagoon, my favorite Universal monster. It's close second. I still think I got to go with the Kessler Wolf from American Werewolf. It's my favorite NECA, but this is an amazing figure. This is the black and white version.
That is so amazing. It looks green right now.
I think it's just the lighting. Yeah,
it's just the lighting.
It's very gray. It has. The only thing I could say is I wish there was a little bit more of like detail in the shadows because it's a very gray figure. But then when you watch the movie, it's very screen accurate. So this is the version I have. There's a couple different versions of this we'll show off. This is obviously the film accurate black and white version. And a really cool thing about this figure is, again, it has alternate heads. It has an open mouth one. It has a closed mouth one. And then also has one that has a hinged jaw. So you can move it, whatever. You can have the mouth open.
That's cool.
Anything you want. Yep. He also features alternate hands. So you have ones, these are kind of like the more like claw hands. You also have ones that are like real flat and also ones that are more like kind of curled fingers, like he's like grabbing or something. But again, the detail on this is just insane. So I have the black and white one. I have yet to see the color version in the stores. I saw it at a toy show I went to a while ago. And the guy was asked, like, these go for, you can get them at Target. You know, all these figures are around like $35. The guy at the toy show wanted like $50. I'm like, I'll wait till I see it in person. So I have yet to see it in person, but Luke found his the other day. So let's see the color.
Best Buy of all places. Best Buy has been doing a lot of these figurines. So again, kind of the box with the original poster. And they got these side designs. Look at that. Full color.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
The last Universal monster to come out too, because this movie came out in the 50s.
Yep, it's the 50s.
Yep.
There was this one, then there was The Monster Walks Among Us as a sequel.
Yeah,
the creature.
He was the last Universal monster in that group, and he was also kind of the early like stepping stone when they entered I guess they call it like the atomic age of horror, where all of a sudden, after that, Universal was making movies like, Tarantula and like the Praying Mantis and like that kind of stuff.
Giant bugs.
And This Island Earth and all these.
They also who did The Blob? The Blob is one of my favorite all-time movies from the 50s. I'll look it up.
Yeah. So yeah, Luke, show us the creature, the figure.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can see that one way more green, like
Oh yeah.
pops. So, is the head that's on right now? Is that the one with the adjustable mouth?
I don't know if there's an adjustable mouth on
there. Is one of them. If you put your nail in there and kind of move, the mouth will move up and down. You can kind of adjust it.
Okay.
One of them. See which one it is. I didn't realize it either. It might be kind of tight too, because I think I kind of had to do a little pressure and then like, oh, there, it moved.
Is it more the lip area or?
It's like.
Oh yeah. You're right.
You see it? Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's
it's
really
just the inner mouth part. Yeah.
You're able to get that out. The one on the left there. Yeah. Yeah.
So
you
can kind of adjust, and then there's the.
Yep.
You can close it there. So
again,
cool.
the level of just detail that NECA goes into is just crazy.
That's cool.
Yep. So then the other version.
Wait, let's look at it. Yeah.
Just so you can see it a little more out of the box. And
I want to.
One of the coolest.
His head. Can you do a close up of his face and his head? Look at that. It just still looks
so good.
Yeah.
You guys know the whole history about the design of the creature and all that?
No. Tell us.
You'll have to look up the name of. So the original design was very. I don't want to say cheesy, but just it was different. It did not look like the version we have. And then there was a woman who worked on the film, and I know her name. I think her name is like Jim. You have to look it up. I think her name's like
right now.
I think her name's like Maleficent or something like that.
It was Millicent Patrick.
Millicent. Okay, yep. So she's the one who's credited for creating that iconic look of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And unfortunately, I think there was some stuff where it's like, because she was a woman, she didn't get the credit that she deserved. Like at the time,
yeah, it was deliberately downplayed.
Yeah,
for the makeup artist Bud Westmore.
Yeah, and if you were, I don't know if you're able to, you probably can't pull up a picture, but if you could see the original design, it's sort of like it, but there's way less detail. It just looks like a bad monster mask. And then they were just like, she was like, I'm going to work on this and make it. Everyone's like, whoa, that is what we, that's what we need. So really cool, little backstory there.
That's cool.
So then there's one more version of it, Jim. You have the version you can show off in the package. I have the figure open.
Check it out. All right, cool.
So Jim got this for me at San Diego Comic-Con this year. NECA had an exclusive, which was the creature, and it's got.
It almost glows.
Yeah, it
does glow.
It glows in the dark. Sorry, it's really blown out here. Yeah, but it's the same figure, but it's cast in this like super bright, neon green glow in the dark figure. So if you shine light on it, turn the lights off, it really glows and pops. It's a really cool figure, but it's the exact same figure. It just doesn't come with alternate heads or the alternate hands. And this, Jim, show the box, because I'm
going to show the box, and I'm also I got the box. I'm going to go solo here. I've been holding it underneath a light, so let me turn my lights off and see if I can see it glowing. Let's turn that light off. And let's turn this light off. Well, we got all these lights behind me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, if you get it like in like pitch black, it looks.
But look at this.
Yeah.
This is the box. Look at this.
And the
I
box.
love this.
And the box, that design, what they're doing is recreating the old Remco line of Universal Monster figures they had. I believe it was like the early 80s, maybe. And the back of the box looked just like that. And so basically all the figures that we've shown and Luke has there, they released them. And the difference is that the paint schemes are like how the vintage figures were from the 1980s. So that's why they had a version of the creature that was a glow-in-the-dark version. They have if you look at the back of that box again, Jim, you can see like how Dracula's cape and the Phantom's cape, it's kind of done in that old Kenner Star Wars style where they have
the plasticky style.
Right. It's like that vinyl capes instead of like the thing. So that's deliberately done to make it look like a vintage figure from that time. So again, like the amount of cool stuff and details and just fun throwbacks and like things that they do is just unbelievable.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and so was this part of the collection that I'm showing on screen there?
Yeah, so that's the same thing. They have glow in the dark versions of some of the characters. I don't think they have for all of them. And then they have ones that have just that vintage kind of paint scheme to it.
Yeah.
So it looks like how they did back in the day.
That's cool.
Just so here's kind of basically all the figurines in the color version that they have out right now. So
I forgot. Yeah, they're doing Nosferatu. I forgot about that. That's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Nosferatu, and
it looks like they have Professor Burke. That's Lon Chaney's character, I believe, from London After Midnight, which is a lost film. The original prints, all the prints were destroyed in a fire years ago. So there's no way you can watch that movie, but there's still these old, production stills of him as that character. He's kind of like this vampire looking guy with like these like sharp teeth. So the fact that they even made that figure is awesome.
So that movie doesn't even exist, you said?
No, look up London After Midnight. And at some point, I'm sure, Jimmy can see like the story. All film negatives, all copies of it were destroyed in a fire. And all we have are just images.
That's the lost film, Lon Chaney, London After Midnight.
Like old movie theaters and things didn't have backups or anything?
1927. A lot of old films have had to go through a restoration process and preservation process because they're almost gone.
If there is a copy of it, no one knows, or it hasn't been discovered yet.
Wait, I'm gonna pull this up though. Let me see if I can do this. Remember how to do this.
Nothing even on YouTube, probably.
No.
I've seen something cool on YouTube where they took the production photos, the ones that exist, and they've kind of done like an AI thing where like they'll take it and make it like kind of animated and have the characters talk and stuff. So it looks weird in AI, but it's like the closest you'll ever see to like an actual clip from the movie.
Wow.
I'm trying to share my screen. Whatever. It never works. It never works, my friends.
Huh.
Wait, here we go. Oh, that looks terrible. Anyway, it's there.
Anyways, so I think that is pretty much it for the Universal Monsters.
Did you have any other versions that you had there handy of the Universal Monsters, like a Super 7 or any kind of?
Do I have them handy? Not really. They have other. You can kind of see up there. They have like little reaction figures that Super 7 does, which again they're recreating the style of the vintage 70s Star Wars figures, where they just make them super simplistic and all that. Fun, different type of thing, but still fun. But compared to NECA with the amount of detail and all that, it's crazy. But I wanted to say, are you guys familiar with the whole Hammer horror movies?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. See, I think I don't know how it is with getting the rights to stuff, because I'm sure NECA getting the rights to Universal Monsters was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
I just imagine how cool it would be if we eventually sometime down the line NECA did the Hammer horror films. So we would get like a Christopher Lee Dracula, like those kind of figures would be like amazing. But again, we'll see what happens. You never know.
Let me see. I'm looking up the Hammer Films. Hammer Films is a British film production company based in London, founded in 1934. It's best known for a series of gothic horror and fantasy films made from the mid-50s until the 70s. And I know some of them, I remember the Hammer film, what was it? Frankenstein versus Wolfman. It's pretty gross. They're kind of, they're a bit on the weird side. Like
they were made in the 60s, and they were basically like we're remaking all these old characters, and so at the time they were more shocking, like Dracula.
Yeah.
I think it's like the horror of Dracula, the Christopher Lee one. This is the first time you saw Dracula with like blood all over his face and like bloody fangs. And at the time, I'm sure people were like, "Whoa,"
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, because when you think about the original Dracula movie, Bela Lugosi, I don't think you don't see like a drop of blood in that movie. I don't think.
Really?
I don't think so. It's very like it's like him going up to a girl or Lucy or whoever and just like doing that, and then it's like, oh, like, you know, for 19, whatever year that was, 1920 something, it was so like edgy and
Okay, but I do have something to show you right here. I couldn't share my screen, but I could grab the photo. This is that London After Midnight, the character. Look at that.
Wow.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So that's Lon Chaney doing.
We're seeing Lon Chaney is holding his hands up over his head in like the
He's got
kind of
crazy.
a crazy bad outfit. That's kind of crazy. All right, I have one I want to show. This is not necessarily Universal Monsters, but it became part of the Universal current Monsters. But I'm going to show this one. This is also from NECA. And
yeah, I got that one too.
this do you have this one, Jake?
Yeah.
The original King Kong. This is so awesome. Wait, can you? I have not yet taken him out of his packaging, so I don't know if I will. But it's the black and white King Kong. You probably are not going to be able to see a lot of it right now. But here we go. You know what? I'm gonna break down and take him out right now.
I can show you. I think
There we go. So, well, I've done this before. It's the original King Kong, the 1932 version of King Kong, which is my favorite. It's one of my favorite monster movies of all time. You have the two versions of his face. You have some of the different versions of the hands, you know, instead of either the fists or the reaching out. It's really simple. I think this one's been out. It has a lot of points of articulation where you can bend and move, but this one's been out for quite a few years. And this is not and I'm going to pull over my black and white Godzilla based on the original Godzilla. He's, blasting his atomic breath out right now.
Looks like he's throwing up. Looks like he's throwing up.
I know. Here, let's get that out. This is the original Godzilla back when he was scary.
That is NECA, Jim. I think that. I'm pretty sure.
NECA I think that is NECA.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought I didn't think they had the license for this.
Yeah, we can get into these two. I'll show you here.
Okay, let's go back to Jake.
I have that King Kong that you have.
Yes.
This is the color version.
Nice.
So, yeah, you can see the classic one. And then my Godzillas, I have two of them. I have the one from King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is the one that's my favorite.
You can tell by the look of his face. It looks like the King Kong versus Godzilla version.
Yeah, and that's my favorite version of Godzilla. Really cool figure. And then I also have the 2014, the newest version of Godzilla we have from the Gareth Edwards. Before
that's the current, the legendary, from the Legendary Film Studios. Current, what's the name of the monster? Monarch. The new series coming out on Apple Plus within days, I think.
Yeah. So this is awesome too. I just love the detail on this. And
all right, I love it. Wait, I gotta show you one. I gotta show you this one. A couple of years old, but since we're talking Godzilla, this is Shin Godzilla.
Yep.
Toyo. Nice. And the next actual true Godzilla film from the original company that made the original Godzilla comes out this fall. Godzilla, it's -1 year.
Nice.
Year -1. The trailer is pretty amazing, but this Godzilla is known for his excessively long tail.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a great movie. I remember when I first saw that, I loved all the different versions of Godzilla. You saw when he was growing from the egg or whatever.
It was weird. You saw this liquidy salamandery type Godzilla walking down the grass. What is that? Right.
So I got if we're kind of wrapping up here, I have a bunch of figures I can just kind of go through here.
That'd be great.
More NECA stuff. So this is another Universal movie, but not Universal Monsters, but this is the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. They have the 3 trick-or-treaters and the silver shamrock masks.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yep. So you got the kids, you have their little trick-or-treat bags, and these actually have, it's kind of messed up, but they have alternate heads, and you can replace them with heads that have bugs and spiders all coming out of the eyeballs and everything.
For those of you who have not seen Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, it's about a mask company that this is the 1980s.
Last year was the 40th anniversary.
40th anniversary is about these masks that are sold all across the country, and on Halloween night you activate them.
The little tag in the back, the silver shamrock logo.
The silver shamrock tag, and they fry your brains out. Kill all people in the world.
And then what's really cool about this is not only do you get the figures, it's a 3-pack of these, you also get the TV set, and it has a hologram. So if you do it, it does the.
Oh, that's cool.
That's amazing. Does it play the music?
No, it doesn't. I wish it did. Yeah, we go do 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 happy Halloween. So that's a good one. This is actually one of the early NECA figures I got, and one of my favorites also, which is Ash Williams from Evil Dead 2.
Nice.
Oh,
Very cool figure. Yeah, this is
that's NECA.
This is NECA. Yep.
Is that pretty old school?
Yeah, this is what year is this? Sorry, let me see if I can see. This is 2011 is when this one came out.
Okay, wow.
And then since then they've done other versions that have
Sorry. I'm going on mute.
Since then they've released other versions of it that have more accessories and alternate heads and stuff, but this is just kind of the basic one. But yeah, super fun figure. One of my favorite horror comedies, I should say.
This is why what?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Another really fun line NECA does, and one of their most popular is the Alien and Predator line. So this is the original Alien from the Ridley Scott film.
God, Lord, there's so much detail in that. Does his mouth actually come in and out?
Yep, you can do the mouth.
Oh, that's cool.
You can close the mouth. You have it pop out like that. And it even comes, it's over on my shelf. It comes with a big egg and the face hugger coming out of it. Oh. And here's Ripley, Sigourney Weaver. It's all right. It's kind of blown out. You can't really. So
back in the 70s, back then when we didn't have female heroines that were, I just go so tired when we act like history began yesterday with cool kick-ass females like killing it in movies. Yeah,
no, one of the coolest.
Yep, Ripley, Sarah Connor, Laurie Strode. We've had them.
Mm-hmm. You got the Predator from the original film there.
Oh, so nice.
And this was one of the first ones. I think one of the first lines they did, because again, they've had so many different versions of this one. They have alternate heads. You can have one with the mask on, mask off, open mouth, closed mouth. This one actually came in a 2-pack with the Alien figure. They had the Alien vs. Predator 2-pack in their first appearances. So very cool. And last but not least, I have our old buddy Jason Voorhees. This is the Friday the 13th Part 7, the New Blood figure. And this is my favorite look of Jason from all the movies, because after Part 6, he was just basically a walking corpse.
Yeah.
So he's just, you can see his like ribs in there. You can see like on the back, you can see his spine.
Wait, is this when he faced off against the telepath?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the psychic girl, and it even has the removable mask here. So you get the nice.
Oh. So wow. But look at the detail. All the ribs through his clothes and everything. Man, oh man.
Yeah, one of the coolest figures. I had to get that one. There's a lot of stuff I really like, but I collect a lot more stuff than like Luke does. I collect Star Wars figures. I collect Marvel stuff, like Ninja Turtles, things like that. So I'm more selective with what I get. Like if stuff I really want, I love all those Universal Monster figures, but Luke and I always talk about when you go and when you collect something, you either get everything, or the way I like to do it is like you decide like what really matters the most. Like, does that really, they always talk about that. That there's like that. It's like the KonMari method about like cleaning and like organizing your house. You take something and say, does this spark joy? You know what I mean? Like, is this something that, and I remember when I first time I heard about that, I'm like, oh yeah. And I've kind of used that in like my collecting things. Like I'll see stuff and I can be like,
I do too.
Like that's really right. I mean, like, that's really cool. Like, I don't need it, but it's really cool. But then there's something where it's like, okay, no, I got to get that. That's awesome.
Does this spark joy? That is such
like Marty and the yellow nuclear outfit. Like,
right. It's like,
it's okay, but
it's cool they made it, but it's like, it's not as good as like just the classic Marty figures and all that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Do you have any final collectibles to share with us?
Jake, you don't have any like the Michael Myers NECA has been really good of like part 2 and some of the other stuff.
I actually don't have. Hang on. Hang on 1 second.
Or Freddy.
We'll look at and see what Cheese has while Jake goes and gets that. What you got, Cheese?
But last thing, I just want to show the black and white versions that are currently for sale. Or actually, I don't think Nosferatu's out yet, or I'm not sure if they've all come out. But Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, the Wolfman, the Creature, the Bride of Frankenstein, and Nosferatu are all NECAs that'll either are available or will be available in black and white. And again,
so you're saying that you don't
ones.
think Nosferatu's out yet?
I have not seen him in color or regular one.
Okay.
I still need to decide if I'd want that or the Professor Burke. I'm kind of happy with the 8 that I got that are showing here. And
yeah,
I don't know if I necessarily need the glow in the dark, but if I'm going by the little method Jake's talking about.
What brings you joy, my friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to mention this earlier, but there's the company that really kind of started off this horror collectibles and really kicked it in the gear in the 90s was McFarlane Toys.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane. And Luke, you had the Jaws one, the Movie Maniacs.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, you still have that? Nice.
Yeah.
So before NECA, I mean, McFarlane is still huge. McFarlane, like they do a lot of DC stuff now. They got DC license, so they're doing like all the stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot of the Batman 66 stuff with that.
And they still do like Spawn stuff and whatever. But back in the day, back in the 90s, this line they had called Movie Maniacs was like awesome because they were finally getting action figures based on these horror characters. So I still have a couple of them. I don't have all the ones I used to have, but I still have my original Michael Myers figure from the Movie Maniacs line.
Oh wow!
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's a good figure, but like compared to NECA, like you can see it. This is much more of a statue. Like he does have some movement, but like the legs, you can't move the legs. You can move his waist, and his feet, and the head and arms move. But it's like much more limited posability. But again, still a great figure. And I still, to this day, every Halloween, I pull this guy out and I set him on my shelf about my TV. So
I love it.
Just had to give McFarlane Toys a little love.
That's very cool. Luke, do you have anything else before we wrap up? I have one more.
Yeah, go for it. The main NECA figures was what I brought.
Here's my last one, guys. Listen, I love everything we've done, but I'm a little bit old school. Hallmark with my classic Charlie Brown and Snoopy Halloween ornament. Wait, listen. I love that. I get so much
cool how the light turns on and shines in Snoopy's face.
Oh yeah. There's a light. Charlie Brown has a flashlight that's shining up in Snoopy's face. It's so great. It's just talk about something that brings you joy. That nothing brings me as much joy as the Peanuts gang during Halloween. What about you, Cheese?
Jim's not the best at saying peanuts.
Peanuts. Peanuts.
Even though he loves
nothing brings me the joy. All right.
We can cut that out, Jim. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're keeping that.
Oh my god.
Anything else, Cheese?
No, I'm just excited to finally open these. A lot of these I hadn't opened yet, so I'm gonna display all 8 of them together on my shelf. So it's gonna look really good.
And we'll post some pictures up there when Luke gets them out. And thank you guys so much, Jake and Luke. We need to, guys. We're gonna do some more of these collectible shows because we have so much fun doing this. Jake has like basically a warehouse right there behind him of collectibles that we need to start getting into. I know Cheeseman is about the same way. Luke's gonna be. And maybe Jake, you can join us for we're going to have a Jurassic Park unboxing coming up soon, and we have some more stuff coming up. So we're going to have a lot of fun here. But regardless, guys, everybody, happy Halloween. We've shown you some of our favorite collectibles from mainly from NECA, but from around the world of collectibles that you can have fun during Halloween week or the rest of the week. My name is Jim. I'm here at thescareguy.com. Cheeseman Jake first.
I'm Jake. You can find me on Instagram at the Jacoba System, and you can also catch me on the Con Guy Show every once in a while and the Scare Guy. And thanks for having me on.
Tiki Freaks. Check out the TikiFreaks.com, folks.
Yep. Tiki Freaks. Yep.
Cheeseman, take us out.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. We've really enjoyed showing you our NECA figures that we've been collecting. Make sure that you go to places like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, or especially go to the conventions, because a lot of these things are for sale there. So you can find a lot of this stuff in person, different places, because some of us like to look at more detail, because there's sometimes a little bit of variation in the faces with the painting, or just some different things. So buying in person is always the best, I think. But you can also kind of find some of the stuff on Amazon and some other places, or they'll sell online. And I like to, on some of these, I'll buy some to take out of the box and some to leave in the box. But that's pretty rare. Like I bought 2 of the creatures to take one out and then keep one in the box.
I'm having a hard time. Jake, you got 2 of these, right? Wait, no.
No, I just got the one.
It's hard for me to take this out of the packaging just because I love the packaging. I'm looking at the creature from the Black Lagoon, the glowing one, so much. It's hard for me to take it out.
I had it down here on my shelf on display behind the other guys, and I was debating. Like I kind of wanted to open it, but then I was like, I don't know, maybe not. But then Zoe, my 3-year-old daughter Zoe, convinced me to open it. So
okay.
Well, just like this, like look at this old one. This is from Comic-Con. About
that one you got to keep in the box.
It's in the box. I'm looking at an old, I think it's Super 7 at reaction figure creature from the Black Lagoon, and then the back of it. It's just so cool. Like everything about the box itself is what makes this. I mean, the figure is kind of it's fine, but the packaging.
It's like I said. It's like they're purposefully making it very simple, and like how the 70s figures were. Even though that exact figure didn't exist back then, it's like, what if it did, kind of deal.
Exactly. What if it did? Anyways, speaking of. I can't let it go without my creature from the Black Lagoon Halloween mask. Back in the day, these were all in these window boxes. Was Cooper? I forgot the name of the company that all of America.
I think it's Ben Cooper.
Yep. All of America had one style of costumes for their kids. It was these costumes that came in a box with a plastic face mask and a terribly uncomfortable plastic bodysuit that but we loved it. It was great. We had a blast. Anyways, Cheeseman, take us out, my friend.
I thought I just did, and then all of a sudden you had all these toys.
I know, we just keep talking.
I thought you'd have all that stuff, and you have more creature stuff we didn't see. But yeah, definitely buy stuff in person, buy stuff online. Thank you, NECA, for making affordable stuff. I mean, affordable for some people, but expensive for some. But I think for the price point of $30-some to get something that's that lifelike and with that much interchangeable stuff is pretty cool. So hopefully we'll be posting more videos and more collectibles. Check out like what me and Jacob be getting, and Jim here and there will probably have something cool to show. So you can find us all on thescareguy.com, and you can find me personally on Instagram and Twitter at Cheese on Couch. And happy Halloween, everybody. Go buy some cool stuff.
That's right. Trick or treat.
Happy Halloween.